Welcome back to the Internal Communication Strategies podcast. I'm Yogesh.
And I'm Lily. And today we're diving into one of the most mission-critical topics in internal communication, leadership alignment and cascading messages.
Yes, this is a big one because when leaders are not aligned, when they're not saying the same thing in the same way, confusion and misalignment spread like wildfire across the organization.
And when leaders are aligned and messages cascade consistently, that's when you get clarity, confidence, and cohesion at all levels.
So today we'll unpack what leadership alignment really means, why cascading communication is essential, how to prepare leaders to communicate effectively, the role of timing and sequencing, real-life failures, and best practices.
Let's begin with the core idea. Yogesh, what do we mean by leadership alignment in internal communication?
At its heart, it means that all leaders speak from the same playbook. They are aligned in message, intent, tone, and timing, especially during moments of change, crisis, or strategic shifts.
So it's not just about what they say, but how and when they say it?
Exactly. If the CEO says one thing, but a department head says another version or says it a week later, it leads to inconsistency, mistrust, and confusion.
I've definitely experienced that. Mixed messages that left teams spinning.
You're not alone. Which brings us to cascading communication. This refers to the structured rollout of information from top to bottom, senior leaders to mid-level managers to frontline teams.
So, like a waterfall, information flows downward through levels of leadership.
Yes, but a strategic waterfall, not a flood. You need a core message, a communication plan, tools and talking points, training or briefing sessions for leaders, and checkpoints to ensure the message is received and understood.
Let's talk about timing. How important is synchronizing when leaders deliver the message?
It's vital. Misaligned timing leads to information leaks, panic, or disengagement. Ideally, all leaders are prepped and ready to share the message at the same time across geographies, departments, and teams.
So you're saying alignment is both what is said and when it's said?
Exactly. Let me give you an example. A global client of mine announced a strategic shift. The CEO did a video town hall. But in Asia, the local leaders hadn't been prepped. Employees heard it online before hearing it from their own manager.
Oh no, that must have undermined trust.
It did. People felt bypassed. Some panicked. Others dismissed it as irrelevant because their own leaders weren't equipped to support the message.
That brings us to leader readiness. What do you suggest organizations do to equip leaders to cascade messages effectively?
Great question. Here are 5 key steps. Brief leaders in advance. Don't surprise them. Provide message frameworks, key talking points, FAQs, tone cues. Allow space for questions. Leaders need to clarify before cascading. Tailor for different levels. Help leaders translate the message to their team's context. And use feedback loops. Create channels to report confusion, pushback, or gaps.
Sounds like a communication campaign in itself, and leaders are your ambassadors.
Exactly. Internal comms teams should see leaders as communication channels, not just recipients.
Now, some might say, why not just send an all-hands email? Why cascade at all?
Emails don't lead. Leaders do. Employees trust their direct manager more than any corporate email. Cascading allows for context, discussion, and emotion, not just content.
I love that. Emails don't lead, leaders do.
It's also about repetition. People need to hear a message multiple times from multiple sources before it sticks. Cascading helps reinforce and personalize.
What about language and tone? Should every leader use the same script?
Not a script, a core narrative. Leaders should be encouraged to deliver the message in their own authentic voice, but without deviating from key facts and tone.
So the skeleton of the message is fixed, but the flesh is flexible.
Perfect analogy. We want consistency without uniformity.
Let's shift to measuring effectiveness. How do you know if a cascade worked?
Great question. Here are a few ways. Pulse surveys immediately after the cascade. Manager feedback loops. What questions emerged? engagement metrics on the comms platforms, town hall follow-ups to reinforce and clarify.
Can you share an example of a great cascade in action?
Yes, one global firm launched a sustainability initiative. Their CEO sent a 3-minute video to all leaders, concise and heartfelt. Then each leader received a cascade kit, talking points, a slide deck, sample responses to tough questions, a discussion guide for team huddles.
Nice.
And they even had coaching calls to help leaders feel confident. And the rollout happened in a 24-hour window across 20 countries. Feedback scores were off the charts.
Wow. That sounds like alignment in action.
Exactly. It wasn't just the message, it was the preparation, consistency, and clarity.
To wrap up, what's the biggest risk when cascading communication is not done well?
Loss of trust. Misalignment erodes confidence. If one leader says, we're growing, and another says, we're tightening budgets, it creates confusion. Employees tune out or make up their own narrative.
And what's the greatest benefit when it's done well?
Thank you, Lily. Beautifully said. Listeners, if you're a communicator or a leader, take a moment to reflect on your last major internal message. Was it aligned? Did it cascade? Were leaders equipped? If you found this episode of Corporate Communication useful, don't forget to join us leadershipacademy.tagbizsutra.com. Do share it with your friends and colleagues and leave your review. Until then,
You get clarity, alignment, and momentum. Everyone rows in the same direction. And that's how strategy turns into action.